Good evening everyone and welcome to TTL F2. We are here for Season 7, Round 7 of the Championship as we take in the Belgian Grand Prix from Spa-Francorchamps, one of the most historic tracks on the F1 calendar. Good evening everyone, of course I'm James Hay, going to be taking you through the action as always. Joining me in the commentary box is my co-commentator extraordinaire, it's Mr. Aidan Carter. Aidan, how you doing?
I'll do it very well, thank you. Extraordinaire, all very.
Have to big you up. Have to big you up at the start.
I'll take it.
You'll take it. But how are you doing, anyways?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I think everyone's getting a little bit frustrated, aren't they, at the moment with quarantine rules at the moment. But so far, not doing too badly. Just things like this, things like TTL and Esports Mini League and League of Europe and everything like that is keeping me going. So I'm not doing too badly.
Fantastic to hear, and I think honestly we have to have our escape away from what is happening in real life. And I mean, you guys, if you tuned into League of Europe Formula 2, especially in the first 5 minutes of the stream, you would have heard me rant on. I'm not going to do that here in TTL F2, I'm better than that. But let's review what happened last week. Toxic taking the feature race and outscoring actually Blizzard in both races, now up to second in the championship, and Honey Badger of course taking the sprint race. Looking through the standings then, Blizzard on 148 points leading the way, from Toxic in second on 120, Spike in third on 109 and Vic Will in fourth on 108. It's really all between those four, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually mentioned that to you, didn't I, just before we got going after looking at the standings, that at this point with, well, we're on round 7, so there's, what is that, how many rounds to go? 7, 8, 9, 10, there's 11 rounds, so we've got 5 rounds to go. We're well over halfway at this point in the season. Unless something crazy happens with the likes of Toxic and Blizzard in the second half of the season, I really don't see the likes of Siege, Honey Badger and Venom being in this title fight at the moment.
Yeah, Siege on 93 points, Honey Badger on 84 points, Venom in 7th as well on 76 points. They're not totally out of the question, I think. It might only take one bad race for the guys ahead, and then Honey Badger and Venom could be well up there within the standings. Of course, 2 different point systems here in Formula 2. Brandon Glover is in 8th, by the way, on 41 points. Ollie Flavel in 9th on 39, and Sean in 10th on 30. Z3xer is in 11th on 27, Tro is in 12th on 25, Speedy Suarez in 13th on 22, Casper in 14th on 19, Mays in 15th on 16 points, with Conti in 16th on 11. Lewis, oh how would have been last week. He had a great debut, I think, last time out on 8 points and 17. Doesn't reflect where he should be in the standings. Lighty in 18th on 3 points, 007 Professional in 19th on 1, and YWR Storm, who I think was going to struggle to make it. I don't think he's here, and he's still got 0 points within the standings. Just to speak about as well, a couple of driver changes coming into tonight. You can see in the Prima that we have got New Zealand Cam back. I think it's his 3rd time he has came back into TTL F2, so welcome back to Cam. And we have also got a brand new driver who I've never actually heard of, Little Roma _ Nino, who was apparently Welsh in the MP Motorsport.
Oh, okay.
So probably quite interesting.
Yeah, I've never heard of Little Roma myself. Hopefully he's definitely a good addition to this league. Fingers crossed he puts up a real good fight and is a real good challenger. As for New Zealand Cam, obviously we've seen him race before. He has got pretty decent pace. He has qualified at the front of the field a couple of times. He's raced at the front of the field a couple of times. He just struggled, I think, at points to keep the consistency. I think he went away and did a little bit more practicing, and now that he's back, maybe he's on a he's done a bit more practice, and he's finally been able to figure out these F2 cars, and hopefully we'll see a bit more from him.
Hopefully we will. Trident also leading the way in the Constructors. The Constructors battle quite spicy, I think. Trident on 175 points, Univertosi in 2nd on 153 points, Campos in 3rd on 150, BWT Arden in 4th on 134. Again, you could probably count those 4 into the Constructors fight. Arc Grand Prix in 5th on 104, Dams in 6th on 100, MP Motorsport on 71 and 7th, Carlin in 8th on 60 in 8th place on 60 points, Cyber Junior in 9th on 39 points, and Prima in 10th on 28 points. We're getting straight into the action. It is one-shot qualifying awaiting us here, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it is something like 14 or 15 laps for the feature race, and it's going to be wet as well for one-shot qualifying.
There we go. We get the wet qualifying session. So we know that there are a few wet specialists in this field, so it'd be interesting to see if we get someone different at the front of the grid. I feel like it's always been like Toxic and Spike that have been on pole this season. It feels like it's only really been those two, and Blizzard as well, that have really come to the front of the field in terms of qualifying. Maybe we'll see someone new at the front of the field today.
Hopefully we will. And actually, just looking at a few facts actually coming into tonight, Toxic has had the most wins this season: 3 feature race wins and 1 sprint race win. Blizzard has only had 3: 1 feature race win and 2 feature race wins, and 1 sprint race win. Of course, taking the double header in Austria. Going to be quite interesting to see how they get on. We're going to be very shortly going out for a lap, I do believe, for one-shot qualifying. We're about to begin, in fact, and it's our favourite Scotsman, MCR Venom, that we're going to go on board with. It seems to be every week we go on board with him, MCR Venom. But, of course, everyone on a wet compound of tyres. Now through the source at turn 1, the hairpin. Gonna have to be, well, sold at 2 minutes, I think. Probably more than 2-minute lap times around here in the F2 cars. Venom down in 17th, he brings it down in 18th for Toxic, Ollie Flavel, Brandon Glover up towards the end. Now through Rouge and Radion. Radion, of course, being the top of the hill. Don't get those two confused up, and the meme will certainly prove that. Casper and Blizzard, interestingly, out of the session as well. So Blizzard has retired from the session. Looks like he might have crashed at the top of Radion. Venom, though, down in towards Lacombe, and he takes the lead. Oh, and he goes way too deep into Lacombe. He just overshoots the car coming through Blanchimont. Oh, and he's invalidated. Toxic invalidates very late on, and I think that has now gifted Honey Badger the final pole position here. Vickrell and Speedy Suarez are fighting out for second. Honey Badger, though, going to be coming across the line. You can see the lap times around here. A 2:12 from Honey Badger, and in the end, he's actually done it quite comfortably. But Toxic getting disqualified from the session, and half the field DNFing out of the session or getting disqualified because of invalidations. I've never seen anything like that. That is how Spa should be.
Only eight people ended up setting a lap time in that session. So even if you spun at some point in that lap, it was important to keep going because you ended up 10 places higher than you probably would have been. That's incredible.
There's a mixed grid as well. We'll go through everyone who's disqualified in just a second. Honey Badger out on top, though, from Vic Mill in second. Going to be quite interesting, I think, them two battling. Ollie Flavel in third with Speedy Suarez in fourth. Spike in fifth, Conti in sixth, Lewis in seventh, Cam in eighth on his return, Maze is in ninth, Toxic in 10th. These are all the disqualifications and invalidations. Little Romanino, Brandon Glover, Venom, Casper, Sean, Blizzard, Siege and Z-Freakser, not necessarily in the order that they retired in or got disqualified in. It's just a random, pretty much grid from 9th downwards. But we should see quite an interesting race, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
it's wet. There we go.
Oh, no.
Spar's throwing it up. It's throwing it up today, isn't it? We always know that Belgium is it's known for wet races and chaotic wet races. Fingers crossed, obviously, we don't get a repeat of some races. But just looking at how qualifying went, this race is going to catch a few people out, I can tell you that. There's a number of people that struggle on lap one around the likes of Eau Rouge and Pool 1 on cold tyres, as it is in the dry. So in the wet, it's going to be even harder to control. I was on board with Toxic actually for his lap. His lap was going pretty well, and then he hit the curb on the inside of Blanchimont, and that spat him out wide, and that's where he got invalidated. So that's how his lap time ended up getting invalidated.
Toxic, I think, would have been out on top, to be honest, if he didn't pick up that invalidation. Quite unfair this track can be in places, and certainly proving that. 13 laps. I predicted 14 or 15, so I'm not too far off the mark. 13 laps, though, will wait the drivers out on track. Of course, I think it is going to be less than 10 for the sprint race. I'm not going to put a figure because I was wrong for the feature race one. Wet conditions, though, out on track. And I mean, championship leader Blizzard down in 16th. Toxic down in 5th. Advantage Toxic coming into tonight.
I'd say advantage Toxic, but actually, this is, at the moment, advantage Vic Mill and Spike, because they're not far off at the moment either. I think Vic Mill was about 12 points behind Toxic and Spike is 11, and those two are the only two real championship contenders that didn't invalidate. Obviously, Honey Badger's at the front of the field, but he's quite a way down in points at this point. So this is Vic Mill's opportunity to get back into the championship running, and we know how consistent and good he is in the wet, so this is a really, really good opportunity for Vic Mill.
12 points separating Toxic, Spike and Vic Mill. Toxic on 120, Spike on 109, Vic Mill 1 point behind him on 108 points. coming into tonight. So that is the main structure. Blizzard as well for purposes, because him being the championship leader, 148 points Blizzard is on. Fantastic to see the track, and of course we're running down towards Puon on an outlap. This track is going to be so difficult, and these cars are going to be so difficult to control, especially going up the top of the hill at Radion.
Absolutely, this track is incredibly high speed as well, so we know how much Formula 2 cars struggle with understeer. At slow speed tracks like we had last time out at Hungary, it's not too difficult to control, because obviously slow speed anyway isn't too difficult to control, but high speed nature tracks like this one, it's going to be really difficult, and in the wet, it's going to be a real struggle for some people.
Has it got the hallmarks of a race of the season?
I think it has the hallmarks to be either the race of the season or the worst of the season. It's going to be one of those, really, isn't it? It could be absolutely chaotic, or it could be a chaotic bad, chaotic good, or you never know. We could end up seeing the most boring race of the season, and Honey Badger could disappear out in the front. You never know. I think Belgium can really throw up anything.
It can throw up anything, and of course we go to Italy next week. A reminder about Italy: 84% of that track can be taken pretty much flat out, so it is going to be very, very interesting to see how the Drivers' Cup turn not only tonight but next week as well, where the speed is going to be so high. Final thoughts from you though coming into the race: who is your top three?
I think race winner for the feature race today, I think is going to be Honey Badger. I think second we'll probably see Vic Mill. As for third, I think we'll see Toxic in third place.
So remind me again, Honey Badger, Vic Mill, Toxic?
Yeah, that's my top three.
That's your top three. Right, I'm going to go Vic Mill for the win, Lewis second, Toxic third.
Okay.
I think Lewis might just do something special here tonight. Especially if this race dries up, he'll be right in there or thereabouts. But we're about to get underway. Those pesky 5 red lights are about to go out here for round 7. It's the feature race here in Belgium. We've got a little bit of a hold on the lights coming up, but they are now up. And there's 5 red lights here in Belgium for round 7. Quick lights, and Cam has left the session already, but it is lights out, and away we go. Siege has got a terrible start right at the back, but Honey Badger leads the run down into the source for the first time. Honey Badger trying to go round the Vic Mill, trying to go round the outside of Honey Badger. Can he get the move done around the outside? He can. Round the outside he goes. Can he get the move done? He can't. It's side by side, running down towards the Rouge and Radion. Everyone looking clean in behind. Cam has rejoined the session. That's why there was a little bit of light hold. But Honey Badger leads up a Rouge and Radion for the first time. Vic Mill in second. Ollie Flavel in third. Speedy Suarez going off track slightly there. Everyone filtering through, which is good to see. Cam dropping down the field, obviously, with this connection. But everyone is clean through a Rouge and Radion. I never thought I'd say that in a commentary round here in the wet. Speedy Suarez, look at Toxic making up ground. Oh, and Lewis is down the inside. Oh, he's going to cannon into everyone. He's down on the inside line. He just messed up his braking point completely and has taken Toxic and Z3, and I think that is little Roman Nino round. Toxic is round as well. Carnage through Les Combes. Honey Badger leads the way. Vic Mill in second, and that has split the field pretty much in half. Out on track, not really needed from Lewis. It's just a pure outbreak of his braking points in the wet conditions. There was a Constantino, I think, of about 3 or 4 cars nearly going side by side into Les Combes, and that is a real shame, to be honest, but it has forced Honey Badger and Vic Mill and Ollie Flavel away by 2 seconds. 3 beginning to pull away as Sean is down the inside on, and Conti gets the move done through Puon. Fantastic move. Venom out wide. Blizzard has already made his way up to 7th, by the way, which is an unreal start from the championship leader, but very, very harsh contact, I think, here, and certainly Belgium throwing it up already. Casper's been overtaken by Blizzard, so he's now up to P6, but towards the end of lap 1, it's Honey Badger who leads, Vic Mill second, Ollie Flavel in third. I don't think I've seen I literally said it was so clean through a Rouge and Radion, and then all hell broke loose.
Absolutely, yeah, it really broke loose, didn't it, in Les Combes? I was on board with Toxic actually for that. That is so unfortunate for Toxic. He was just minding his own business going into Les Combes, and there came a Univirtuosi diving up his inside completely off the track.
Toxic's down the inside of Maze actually through Blanchimont, gets the move done. Fantastic move by Toxic.
And with front wing damage as well. That's a brilliant move from Toxic as well, pulled off. Meanwhile, Venom's had to dive into the pits for his front wing damage. He's had to change his front wing, so that's one person that's already had to commit to that change. He's going to have to really hope for it to dry up. That's going to be kind of the only real way that his race is going to come back to him, unfortunately. I think it's probably the same with Toxic at this point in the race as well. Oh, just caught Conti having a massive moment on the exit of La Source. He's got Z-Fix right behind him. Z-Fix is obviously not going to go through Eau Rouge, but see if he gets a good run at the top of Radion. He does, but has to back out because Conti's slow in the corner.
Little Roman Nino as well. Absolutely fantastic run up the top of Rouge and Radion. Gets past Z-Fix as if he wasn't there, to be honest. Sorry, gets past through Siege as if he wasn't there, to be honest. Now he's on the back of Z-Fix. A good move that by Nino. He's up to 11th and debuting well.
Yeah, absolutely. He was unfortunately involved in that late com incident as well while I was on board with Toxic. Nino, I think, came into contact. I'm not sure who it was with, but he was round in the second part of the chicane. But he's working his way back through pretty well, and I don't think he got any damage from it, so good from him. Just another thing to note as well, Suarez.
No! Sorry to cut in! Nino's going for 2 for 1 down the inside on both Conti and Z3. He's got one. Can he get the other? Nino has! Conti runs wide. Nino's up to 9th. Brilliant stuff.
Flying. He's absolutely flying. He's got brilliant pace at the moment. Let's see how much further forward he can get. He's only 2 seconds up towards Sean. Nino's on a flyer at the moment. He's absolutely, he's really on one. Meanwhile, Suarez, he made a mistake and he's fallen behind Blizzard and Casper. So Blizzard's up to P5 from the back of the field. But Blizzard does have a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. So he overtook someone illegally in a yellow flag zone and hasn't given that pace back. So he's got a 5-second time penalty to deal with.
That might get removed as well, because it might have been one of the guys that was actually on the inside of Lacombe. So that might be why he has got that illegal overtake. And it might be actually, I think it might be on Toxic, to be honest, because I think he was behind Toxic, or in and around that pack before.
Oh, sorry to butt in, Lewis has just lost it. He's lost it coming onto the stretchers before Blanchimon, and he's hit the wall. He's going to have to come in and replace that front wing, unfortunately. That's a shame for Lewis. He had real potential coming into this race, but a mistake at Lacombe's really ruined his race, unfortunately. Fingers crossed he keeps going. You never know what can happen in this race. It's already blown up so far, so he can definitely work his way back in if there's any chaos that ensues. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a queue now starting to form. It's kind of really from Sean backwards, I'd say. Nino's about a second back. Conti's just there as well, but then Z3, Toxic and Siege are all kind of in a queue at the moment.
Yeah, Siege actually letting through Toxic there. So that was quite interesting. Okay. Siege letting Toxic through. It looked like he might have had I'm not sure if he had a poor run out of the final corner. At the bus stop chicane. Spike, by the way. Yeah, Spike on the back of Ollie. Trying to go around the outside of Lacombe. Univertosi trying to go around the outside. He's way too late on the brakes though, and Ollie will sign, seal and deliver that position and keep there. And in fact gains a lot of time as a result of Spike, and now lets Blizzard into play. Possible three-way battle for P3 out on track. Honey Badger, by the way, has just stolen a march on Vic Mill. Vic Mill being master of the wet, but Honey Badger's playing him at his own game, and it's 2.3 seconds between Honey Badger and Vic Mill. A stunning start from him.
Yeah, I think a stunning start actually from the pair of them. Ollie Flavel was third on the grid. He just hasn't got the pace of the top two at the moment. But this is exactly what they needed. Honey Badger, as we were saying how fast he was going, had a massive moment in P1. There's your moment there's your massive save of the race. We get one every week. But he had a massive moment in P1 and saved it and didn't really lose any time. But the top two are really starting to pull away from the field now, and there's a bit of a queue forming behind Ollie for third.
Who's the quicker driver out of Ollie, Spike and Blizzard at this stage? I would be honestly and say Blizzard, yeah. Yeah,
it's got to be Blizzard. And actually at this point, got to look out for Casper. Casper's not far off the back of this group either. He's doing pretty well so far in 6th.
There we go. I've got my TV back. There we go. Sorry.
I was just saying that Casper's not far off the back of this group either, so we can't count him out of a possible result. He's doing really well. He's running his own race at the moment. He's
look at this!
The pace of Blizzard.
Look at Nino on the back of Suarez. Suarez has been overtaken by Sean just before Blanchimon. He runs wide. Nino is trying to take full advantage here. He might be in Ranganathan's car, but he's not certainly Mahir Ranganathan on track and Speedy Suarez. Too late. Nino takes full advantage of that. Pretty much part of the Red Sea. Nino was through and it's caused all sorts of carnage, I think, in behind. Everyone's clean through. Ollie Flavel has lost the position to Spike for third position. Sean was caught up in that as well. So unfortunately, but Spike got the run on Ollie Flavel, by the way, down towards Tomon, got the move done.
Brilliant. Just another thing as well, Toxic has somehow worked his way back up into 8th place in all of that.
What?
So he's back into reverse grid pole position already with a broken front wing, so don't count him out just yet. Meanwhile, Ollie's just been passed by Blizzard.
Great move by Blizzard, actually. Getting a run purely off of Rouge and Radio, and he could be going for a 2-for-1 here. Is he going down the inside of the com? Is he? Oh, I don't think he is. Spikes ran wide slightly. Can Blizzard get the undercut on him? Coming outside of the com. Trident on Univertosi, but I don't think he's close enough. He could be close enough into Bustle's corner, though. Or Brusel's. Blizzard down the inside, Spike runs wide. This is surely Blizzard's position, and it is. Yeah. Trident car is through, and he's up to third, and Ollie Flavel trying to get through for fourth as well, but Blizzard takes full advantage, clearly the quicker driver. He's up to third, and now all focus is on Vic Mill and Honey Badger ahead.
What a brilliant race this has been from Blizzard so far. He's the championship leader. We come to expect this from him, but he started 16th or 17th on the grid he started, and he's already third halfway through lap 4. I know there was a bit of carnage and things as well, but to work his way through the field so methodically and be on a podium position already is just incredible pace, and that is why he is the championship leader. That is why he could be champion-elect. That's how far I'm going. Yeah, he's just able to make the best out of any situation. He'll have a bad race or a bad qualifying, and he immediately snaps out of whatever funk he was in and just really goes for it. He had a bit of a moment, but still, he's just on the ragged edge of speed, really, and right on the edge of control, really. But now he's got clean air. You should see the gap between himself and Vic Mill coming down. It's not at the moment, but take it over the pace of a lap. Take it over the pace of a lap and see how much Blizzard catches up. Honey Badger, by the way, is now 3.3 ahead of Vic Mill out on track. Cam, by the way, still hasn't rejoined the session. His AI car has somehow done a 151.9 in the wet. Yeah. Right. That'll get taken off. It'll be whoever's the next fastest lap, and in fact, I'll have a look at that now if we can. And yeah, 151.9. Quickest lap so far has been Honey Badger, 2:15.1 out on track for Honey Badger. So Honey Badger will be having the fastest lap point as well. At the moment so far, but obviously Blizzard's now in free air, so look out for him to try and take that one off him. Meanwhile, Siege is on the back of Conti for 9th. Sean and Z3, I think Z3 actually just spun coming out of the source, unfortunately, and Suarez is back through. Siege made a mistake at the top of the hill at Radion as well, so he's not going to be able to pass Conti for P9. Conti doing pretty well actually to defend from Siege. Siege really hasn't had the pace in the wet, he just hasn't got the confidence. Obviously he invalidated his time in qualifying. We know how fast Siege can be, he's just not got the confidence to work his way through the field like the likes of Blizzard and Toxic and Nino have done so far. Gotta be honest, somebody that's been catching under the radar, he always seems to do well in these wet races. Casper in 6th. He's up from 14th on the grid. And purely because of that carnage, he's up to 6th position. But he always seems to get himself in the right spot to get up there towards the top end of the field within the wet races. He's doing a fantastic job, and in fact, I think he's beginning to catch Ollie as well. He is, yeah. I just noticed Ollie actually made a little mistake through pit 1. Casper's running pretty cautiously at the moment. He's got a good gap behind him, and the gap's not coming down from Nino to Casper, so his P6 at the moment is safe. He just really needs to run his own race at this point. Ollie Flavels looks a little bit all over the place. I don't know if he's maybe overheating his tyres. It's drying out a little bit. It's obviously nowhere near dry tyre conditions, but there's no intermediates in Formula 2, so full wets in these conditions is really difficult to manage. Meanwhile, Lewis has actually crashed at the top of Radion, obviously, so that's his race over with. Hopefully he can make some time back in the sprint race and hopefully get back into the points for that one. Blizzard not gaining on Vic Mill, by the way, 6 seconds the gap, so clearly the tyres of Blizzard not really gaining. He's just got under 6 seconds there. I'm on board with Ollie Flavel as Spike makes a colossal mistake actually coming through the bus stop chicane. Just ran very wide indeed. He's lost all sorts of time, I think, to Blizzard. 1.6 seconds, yeah, it's 2 seconds, so he's lost about 4 or 5 tenths of a second coming down towards La Source. Blizzard in 3rd though, now dropping that gap under 6 seconds for the first time, but I've got to be honest, Vic Mill is losing time as well to Honey Badger, and Siege interestingly into the pits. Oh, okay, so Siege decided to come in here. So what fucking damage he hasn't, so that's a bit of a weird call from Siege. I'm not sure why he's coming in for another full wet. Mandatory pit stop. But does the mandatory pit stop count for full wet conditions, I wonder? I don't imagine it would do. I'm not sure. Where about as clear as if somebody can put an answer on a postcard, that'd be fantastic. And put it in the comment section. But personally, I'm not sure if the rule still applies if it's full wet conditions. So if it doesn't apply, then that's a bit of a bizarre error from Siege. But if it does apply, then Siege at the moment is the only one that's stuck by it.
Ollie Flavel having a right moment coming out of Le Com and on the run down towards Bruxelles, which is the right pronunciation I've known for that corner, not Brussels as I like to call it, but Casper 1.2 seconds behind Ollie, and that gap this time around was what, 1.9 seconds I think it was?
Yeah, it was about 1.6, 1.7. Casper's just got a little bit more confidence at the moment. Casper, I'm on board with him at the moment. You can see he's a lot neater. Ollie Flavel's trying to push. I think he's trying his hardest to try and keep with Spike, but he's just driving a little bit over aggressive at the moment and he's probably overheating his tyres. But Casper's just running on the racing line, running his own race, not pushing too hard, and it's actually gaining him time, so he's definitely got the right strategy at the moment. Yeah,
everyone's doing, I think, a fantastic job given the conditions. We haven't really got many battles out on track that is of note. The closest one's between Ollie Flavel and Casper, and I mean, it's 1.5 seconds the gap. 1.5 seconds might not seem like much, but trust me, in wet conditions, it feels like you're driving around in, well, I can't really describe what you're driving around in, but Casper, 1.5 seconds behind Ollie. He's just lost a little bit of time, but these guys doing a phenomenal job, I think, out on track. This is why we're in the commentators box. Nice and dry. Blizzard in. Oh, and Spike in, and Ollie's in, sorry, as well. And Casper's in. So these guys, I think, might think the mandatory pit stop still counts.
Yeah, I imagine that they probably think that. That's probably why they've come in. Because I'm not aware of what... Well, obviously, we're both not aware, and that means Blizzard has to serve his penalty as well.
Yeah.
Blizzard obviously had his 5-second time penalty. That might drop him behind Ollie Flavel again, if he's not careful. Let's have a look. He might get a bit held by people. He comes out pretty much dead level. He's behind. He's behind Ollie Flavel.
Wow.
So he's back behind him, so that's going to cost him time to Spike when Spike eventually pits. But if I was the case of Honey Badger at the moment, and I wasn't sure whether the mandatory pit stop still counted, I would wait until lap 12 and see if the game told you had to come in. Because if it doesn't tell you have to come in, then clearly the rules doesn't apply for the wet conditions.
But we've seen the majority of guys come into the pits. I mean, Toxic, Conti and Maze as well. Just some of those guys that came into the pits. Blizzard, by the way, has got a phenomenal run on Ollie Flavel here, and is going to truly sign, seal and deliver this down the inside of the Kemmel Straight. Now, but Ollie's on the outside line. He could try and think about around the outside, but he doesn't. Blizzard is through, and he's up into 6th position. And if I've got to be honest, a little bit of PG-18 going on there, and a little bit of ghosting inside, but Blizzard through and he's up to 6th. And I've got to be honest, I think Ollie didn't put up much of a fight.
Yeah, I think Ollie knows that Blizzard's just the faster driver at this point. I think Ollie just wants to run his own race because he's obviously racing Casper. Meanwhile, Casper's actually dropped a little bit of time in the pit lane. He's actually fallen behind Venom. I don't know if Venom's pitted yet or not.
He has.
He has, so Venom's actually jumped Casper in the pit stop somewhere. I think for Venom, I think Venom pitted pretty early on in the race for damage. Yeah, he pitted pretty early on. So he's kind of brought himself back into play at this point. But obviously he pitted before lap 3, so his pit stop might not count if the mandatory pit stop rule is applied.
Honey Badger's in from the lead of the race, so the mandatory pit stop must be on because Honey Badger is in. Honey Badger in, Vic Mills in. Spike should be coming in as well, you would imagine. Sean Speedy Suarez. Spike actually staying out.
Yeah.
Is he going overcut, I wonder?
Maybe.
8 seconds behind on Vic Mills though.
I think the good thing at this point though for Spike is obviously that Blizzard had to serve his time penalty, so that's costing 5 seconds, and Spike was only about 2 seconds back. And at the moment Blizzard is a little bit stuck behind Suarez, unless Suarez is defending it into bus stop, but Blizzard goes all the way around the outside and just takes the position. That was pretty easy. I don't think Suarez really put up a fight for that one. But Spike's got a little bit of a time buffer now because of Blizzard's time penalty, so he can extend by a couple of laps longer if he's feeling pretty confident on the tyres. But yeah, I'm not sure if this rule still applies. Even if everyone's come in, I'm still not sure if this is if it's a mandatory pit stop race because of the weather. So if it isn't, Spike's really pulled one out of the bag.
Well, Spike and Suarez are the only two that haven't pitted just yet. But I think because of the tyre compound, they have to pit. With it being the feature race, they have to make that mandatory pit stop regardless. Regardless whether it's wet, whether it's dries, they have to make that mandatory pit stop. If they have, and I've been totally misinforming people, and we've been misinforming people, then we do apologise for ruining every single one of you guys' race.
Absolutely, yeah. Just another thing from the pit stops. Look at Honey Badger's lead over Vickman now. It's 9.3 seconds. Honey Badger is
Ollie.
absolutely dominating this.
Suarez lets him through. Sorry, Ollie gets the move done there on Suarez. Has Ollie got left side end plate damage as well? Actually, is that just my eyes? That is just my eyes. He hasn't.
Yeah, he hasn't got any damage by the looks of things. He's running around okay at the moment.
You can see the difference in the tyres though between Ollie and Suarez. I mean, that gap is already a second.
Yeah, and I think Suarez is struggling for confidence as it is in the wet conditions. We know that Suarez is a pretty fast driver, but in the wet races in previous events that we've had, he really has struggled for confidence. The good thing for Ollie Flavel, though, at this point in the race is that the pressure he received from Casper doesn't have that pressure anymore. So he can start to run a little bit of a slower pace and manage the tyres a bit better than he did in the first stint. And at the moment, he's dead set on for a P4 finish in this race, which is a pretty good result from Ollie, considering the fact that we know how incredibly unlucky Ollie's been so far this season.
Spike's still staying out. Just running on board with him. He's going on to lap 9 here, and I mean we're setting 2 minutes 16 lap times around here. So by the end, that we'll probably get into the Eurovision Song Contest of 2021 at this rate. With the amount of lap times that we're getting set around here. Spike though leads, trying to pull off an impossible strategy. I think he might get regulations at the end of lap 12. That's what we're banking on, I think. Is Suarez coming into the pits? No, he's not. The Suarez and Spike are under the impression there is no regulations at the end of this. And I've got to be honest, he's keeping up with Ollie as well.
Yeah, he's not doing too bad. I think he regrouped himself a little bit in the last sector. He's kind of in a little bit of a pack now, so he's going to start to struggle when one person overtakes. That's when the next person catches up pretty quickly. Suarez, as I say that, has a massive moment out of the source, well held, but she was all over the place, and that's going to put Venom right on the back of him now.
Oh, the Venom has got to go around the outside, onto the inside line through a Rouge. No way Jose he was going to pull that one off. I mean, look at the run on the fresher tyres that Venom has got compared to Suarez. Suarez, of course, hasn't been into the pits, and the Scotsman is through Venom, but Suarez still within the slipstream. Is he going to try and pull it off down the outside of Lacombe? No, he's not. He is fair given the conditions, and Venom is through, and he's up into 6th position. But now, with Suarez essentially holding up Casper, Nino, could it let Toxic into play for net pole? Well, I've just said him. He's got 3 seconds down penalty.
Yeah, I believe Casper's got one as well. At the moment, I think the person we need to look out for rescue pole is Nino. Nino, on his debut, is actually doing a really, really good job. He's showing some pretty decent pace, good overtaking skills, and this is a real baptism of fire for Nino, isn't it? A wet qualifying and a wet feature race in your first event is a real test of your skill, and he's doing pretty well so far.
He is doing well, and Nino, by the way, is friends with Suarez within IRL. So that's where he's came from. I recognised the name, but I didn't know where from. So Nino on the back. Is he not? He's thought he was going to trying to have a cheeky go at Casper there, trying to go around the outside of the chicane. But no, he doesn't. He has to hold on, and holding sway. Currently out on track, Casper trying to lunge it down the inside, but this could give Nino the run that he needs. Could be side by side through Blanchemont.
Possibly, oh my word. He was all over the back of him, he was nearly pushing him there through the corner, but it's going to be, I think Casper's going to pass Suarez before Nino thinks about it, honestly. Suarez is real quick in the bottle here, Casper's not going to go for it at Blanchemont, he backs off. See what happens at the bus stop though, does anything break late enough? Casper's looking to the inside, Suarez isn't defending it, but Casper's not confident enough on the brakes. Suarez a little bit deep into the corner as well, they're pretty much
Nino's going to get both of them.
He's going to go, yeah, is he going to get the pair of them? He is, brilliant move. Really well read from Nino. He's got some really good racecraft. He's really able to read the races. Casper, meanwhile, I think got a legal overtake on Suarez at the bus stop chicane because he went all the way off the track on the outside of the corner.
Yeah,
so he's waiting to let Suarez back through, yeah, so that he doesn't get that penalty. There he is, and this has brought Toxic into play now.
Toxic into play, but of course he's got a lot of penalties. I think he's got 9 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, out on track.
He's got front wing damage as well.
Front wing damage. Oh, Suarez and Casper side by side, pointing to the Red Sea here for Toxic. Around the outside he goes, 3 wide through on the top of Radion, and Toxic has taken full advantage of that, of a Suarez mistake. Casper not getting the best run out as well. He's surely got to get this round the outside. He has done. Toxic is through in his P8. Casper on the inside line just making contact with him, and Suarez all over the shop, and Suarez is trying to go around the outside as well. Fantastic racing out on track, but again another scenario well read by a driver out on track. First it was Nino, now it was Toxic, and Toxic threw it up the P8. Brilliant move.
Yeah, really, really good. Like I said, the same thing for Nino, really well read for Toxic. He knew what was happening with the cars in front, and he waited for them to have their battle and then made the move when they were vulnerable. Brilliant move for Toxic, and the same for Nino. Nino is now actually catching his teammate pretty quickly for P6, so look out for Nino to try and pass Venom before the end of the race. Meanwhile, Spike has continued to stay out. So it's going to be, when he crosses the line, it's going to be lap 12, it'll be when he gets told if he has to clear. So let's see if he fights this one with Honey Badger. At the moment, Honey Badger really doesn't need to risk even overtaking Spike. His lead is so massive at this point. He's utterly dominated proceeding so far. So he doesn't really need to fight Spike. He just needs to let Spike do his own thing and then wait until he either has to hit or he can wait, because Honey Badger's just got so much more grip. Look how much later Honey Badger can be on the brakes. It's incredible how much more grip he's got.
He'll get the run down towards Radion, or has to fight the car on the little bump on the outside of the source through turn 1, but Honey Badger now coming up towards the Rouge and Radion for what will be the third last time out on track within the feature race. Sprint race still to come, and Honey Badger, you can probably see where this one's going to go, because Spike might defend this with all of his might, but Honey Badger surely on fresher tyres is just going to purely outbrake him down in towards Lecom. Will he outbrake himself too much? No, he won't. Honey Badger sails on by down the inside, down into Lecom, gets the move done, and he's into the lead of the race, and that is what you get if you stay out too long.
Yeah, the tyres are really dead at this point for Spike. He's going to have to hope that the ruling doesn't count, really, isn't he? Otherwise, he's going to absolutely plummet through the field when he pits. I think it's a good attempt from Spike, I'd say. If it pays off for him, it's definitely a very clever move. If it doesn't pay off for him, then it's a real shame for him, and he's going to drop pretty much outside of. He's going to drop out of contention, really, isn't he, for first grid pole?
Siege on the back of Suarez, trying to go around the outside of Lecom. Suarez late on the brakes, but surely on the fresher tyre, Siege is going to have this one down the inside, and they're still side by side, actually coming out of Lecom. Can Siege get the move done around the outside? Fantastic racecraft between both of them, and Siege gets the move done around the outside. The traction was there. He was on fresher tyres. Fantastic stuff by Siege. He's up to P10, but good racing between both of them.
I nearly stole your signature move of clapping them, because I was on board with Suarez for that. Suarez was sideways for the whole of Lecom. How we didn't crash into the side of Siege, I will never know. Really well controlled from Suarez, but this strategy for Suarez just has not worked, and he's dropping down the field. He's gonna, if he does have to pit, he's gonna drop way down into about 14th, nearly 15th position.
He could even be below that, I think, because it's a longer pit stop around here. So I think he could be maybe even behind Z3xer. Nino switching to the inside on Venom. What a move by Nino!
Venom has a puncture.
And Venom's got a puncture right front, I think that is.
Yeah. So he's obviously stayed out too long on his wet tyres, and they've punctured for Venom.
But that's on 9 lap old wets. How is Spike getting 11 lap old wets?
We've had Casper round as well. Casper's had a spin.
Oh.
Casper's had a spin out of P9 position. He's dropping down to 11th. That's a shame for Casper. I think Sean's going to pass him as well. That's a real shame for Casper. Let's see if he keeps going. He'll gain a points place back on Venom. But yeah, what a disaster for Venom, having to come in for a puncture on the penultimate lap of the race.
I thought Venom was going to continue for a minute there. Oh, and he's spun into the pit lane. He's lost his left side end plate damage as well. He's got left side end plate damage as well. From bad to worst for Venom. Casper, 5 second time penalty for exceeding track limits. He's on the back of Sean, trying to recover the car. The Carling man is not out of this, to be honest, out of a top 10 finish. Venom limping his way into the pit lane there, and he's now going to be behind the likes of Brandon Glover and Mays. Spike, by the way, will hold on, but I think actually Spike has had a massive spin, and he's got a puncture as well, has he? But right left tyre for Spike.
Rear left, rear left puncture for Spike.
Not right
he managed to go a lap and a half further than Venom, but it just hasn't worked in the end for Spike. He's going to have a spin.
Oh, and he spun
right in the middle of the track. He just gets out of the way.
Oh my god.
Yeah, go for stuff and Spike to get out of the way, but it just hasn't worked in the end for him. Just hasn't worked in the end for him, has it? That's such a shame. I was about to go on board with him and say he's dropped 5 seconds to Honey Badger in a lap. That just shows how much he was struggling on those tyres, and he's really going to fall down the field now, which is a shame. And that means that his championship rivals of Vic Mill and Blizzard are now ahead of him, and I think Top 6 definitely going to finish ahead of him at this point as well. So this is really going to hinder Spike's championship chance now.
Speaking of the other Campos man, Sean trying to go up the inside of Speedy Suarez, trying to get the move done there, but not quite. Casper is on the back list. 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. That's purely because of the puncture. Here comes Sean down the inside of Puon, but good defending there by Suarez around the outside. Goes Sean, a little bit of contact, but he's still going to go around the outside, and that is fantastic stuff. And there's Casper as well. Casper's around the outside. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Sean and Casper making it look very easy. I know Suarez is on 11 lap all tyres, but to pull off a move like that and then to follow it through with Casper in behind takes some guts and nerve, and Sean and Casper have just promoted themselves into the point scoring positions. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff.
Yeah, really, really, really good stuff.
Oh
again.
My God, Casper! Jesus Christ!
He's going to give us a heart attack at this point. He's all over the show, but well helped from Casper. Again, Sean and Suarez made contact, and I do not, for the life of me, I do not know how Suarez is holding this car. His tyres are near puncture territory, like Spike and Venom's.
Will he have to pit in?
Will he have to come in, or does he stay out? But he was all over the place in Phil, and he was fully sideways, almost a 90-degree angle.
Out.
He doesn't pit. He's staying out. Let's see if he crosses the line and he gets disqualified. Does he get disqualified or not?
Right on board with him.
Let's see.
Oh, Conti sideways in the back. No, he doesn't.
He doesn't, no. So the strategy would have worked.
Yeah.
If the tyres would have stayed, if the tyres would have held out for long enough, then the non-pit stop would have worked. But unfortunately, the tyres were just dead by the time we got to about lap 11, and they fell apart. Suarez hasn't got a puncture yet. He's still going. So
he's still going.
He's still in the points. He's still going. But it was pretty much at a 90-degree angle in Puon. How on earth he saved that, I will never know.
Deary me. Well,
Sean.
Let's have a look at him.
Sean. Yeah.
Trying to go around the outside of the corner. No way.
Too late on the brake, surely. Yeah. Oh, and Sean doesn't leave him any space to go around the outside anyway.
Sean made a similar mistake actually there.
Yeah, so I think Sean let off the brake seeing how late Casper went in, and that Casper actually broke himself, and Sean didn't realise. So Sean just holds on to P8 at the moment.
Well, Honey Badger's coming through Stavelot for the final time, and now on the run towards Blanchimont. What an exciting and thrilling race this has been in Belgium. The feature race, sprint race still to come. Normally when they say the sprint race is better than the feature race, we do mean it. We do mean it, so stay tuned, especially if it's wet. Honey Badger coming through the bus stop chicane for the final time. It's been an utterly dominant performance. He now possibly lands himself a big chance of the title. He is very happy. Honey Badger across the line wins by nearly 14.5 seconds to Vic Miller. Pure dominant drive out on track. Suarez, by the way, and Conti are having a go. Conti's going around the outside into the chicane on Suarez. Suarez is still there. This is fantastic. Still Vic Miller across the line in second, by the way. And Conti, has he got the move done on Suarez? They're still side by side coming towards Stavelot. He goes in a bit too deep. Suarez, though, can't get the traction down. They're still side by side coming through Stavelot. And Conti finally gets the move done around the outside of Stavelot. My God, Suarez is fighting this race and fighting this car for points. My good God, and Casper's retired out the race through Blanchimont.
No,
he's lost it through Blanchimont. Oh, he's retired the car.
I wonder if there was contact with Sean. I wonder if they made a contact there or whether he lost it on his own, but that is such a shame from Casper. That's out of what possibly
Sean
could have been. Sean crashing across the line, but that could have been reversed.
Suarez in the points
Casper.
without penalties.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Goes ninth.
Yeah, he goes ninth.
Brandon Glover steals the last point from the back of the field, and a terrible start to the race. Brandon Glover made it back into the points.
Absolutely phenomenal stuff. My voice has nearly gone already. Venom across the line for P12. Mays in 13th. Thrixa has recovered well actually to get ahead of Spike, obviously with his puncture. Spike is outpacing him towards the line, but Mays couldn't be across the line in 13th. Not as race, he got caught up in that early contact, I think. See Thrixa across the line in 14th and Spike across the line in 15th. Just to point out, by the way, Nino on his debut finished 5th.
Brilliant race from him. We saw on board with him while we were watching him. He's got brilliant racecraft, and the fact that that's his first race and he managed to pull that out of the bag in a real baptism of fire, he is one to look out for in the rest of the season.
Well, to remember, like Lewis last week when he debuted and he drove such a good race last time out, not obviously going as according to plan as what he would have hoped, but it's Honey Badger who takes the feature race win. Sprint race still to come. If you weren't that excited on the edge of your seat and you didn't grab your popcorn then, grab it now while we've got a break, because trust me, the sprint race, even if it's dry, even if it's wet, could be a thriller.
Absolutely, it could be absolutely crazy. And in all of that, somehow Blizzard managed to extend his championship lead.
How?
I don't know how he's pulled it off, but he's done it again from 16th on the grid. He finished 3rd. Oh, and no, never mind. I said Toxic.
Toxic.
I got my prediction. I thought I said I got my prediction right, but Toxic finished 7th. And Blizzard ended up 3rd.
Honey Badger wins though the feature race for Vicmil in 2nd. Blizzard, arguably, possibly driver of the day there in the feature race, finishing from 16th up to 3rd. Ollie Flavel drove very well as well in 4th. Nino on his debut in 5th. Siege in 6th. Toxic 7th. Sean and Ed, both Campos score points. Suarez across the line in 9th. Brandon Glover across the line in 10th. Conti, Venom, Maisie, Thruxa, Spike all finishing. Unlucky for Casper. The gods of Blanchimont strike again. I think,
unfortunately, yeah. It's a real shame for Casper because we know that Casper's been steadily improving and he's shown a lot of good pace so far this season.
Ooh.
A dry sprint race. Here we go. It's usually the other way around, but we've got a dry one now, so this is going to be completely different. But hopefully Casper can work his way back through the field in the dry sprint race. We know that he's got good pace and that he's continually on the up, so hopefully we get to see a bit more from him.
Yeah, just to update as well, Cam, who said had joined on my session, he must have left again because he's not taking any part in this race. Might have had a disconnection issue, so Cam, not going to be racing in this. But I mean, we've got 15 seconds to go for the sprint race. With it being dry, it could really throw the championship once again anyone's favour.
It really could, yeah, and I think the thing is with the sprint race, obviously the reverse top eight is going to throw a complete spanner into the works. But just looking at who's on the front row, I mean, it's going to be a real challenge into turn. It's going to be a real challenge into turn 1. But can you really see the Campos cars fighting into turn 1?
I think honestly Toxic will get the better run. 9 laps await the drivers out on track, all on a set of medium compound of tyre. I think the other compound of tyre that they use around here is the super soft compound of tyre, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it is, yeah.
Medium compound of tyres for everyone out on track. In terms of strategy, well, yeah, it's a sprint race. It's literally lights to flag.
Yeah. There's no pit stops to worry about in this one unless you obviously get damage and things like that. So yeah, it's just a straight run to the flag just to see who's got the best pace in the dry conditions. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. Obviously, we've only seen wet running so far, so we know who's fast in the wet, and that's obviously Honey Badger, Vicmil and Blizzard, but who's got the pace in the dry? I've
got to be honest, looking at that top 8 that we've got from the first race, with them being reversed, just looking at that makes me want to, well, can I say the word orgasm?
I knew a word like that was coming, I know.
It looks so good though. That top 8 on paper should be the top 8 that you will really see excel. It could be anyone's game out of the top 8, and I think it's the best top 8 you could ask for.
Absolutely, yeah. Obviously, it's a shame that the likes of Venom and Spike are down at the back of the field. We know how fast they are in the wet, and we know that Spike and Venom really put on a good show. Seeing them come from the back of the field is definitely going to be a good showing for them as well, so that's going to be fun to watch. But yeah, this top 8, it really sets up for a brilliant race.
It does set up for a brilliant race, and of course, if you are just tuning in, myself, James Head, and Aidan Carter taking you through the sprint race. Aidan will, of course, take the start of the sprint race, and I'll probably come in around halfway through. Well, probably
disappeared up front already. Toxic way out in front. Sean in 2nd. Ollie Flavel's 3rd. Brandon Glover is up to 4th. From 10th on the grid. He's had a brilliant start. Venom's 5th. What an incredible start Venom's had. He obviously got up the inside of everyone while they were running wide at the exit of the source. But yeah, the Campos squad's a dream start for them as they go down into the end of the first sector. Venom already trying to have a look at Brandon Glover for P4. Venom's absolutely flying. Vicmil's in 6th ahead of his teammate Suarez. I think him and Spike just made a little bit of contact there through Lake Com. Spike isn't able to make the move stick. There's a bit of contact further behind. Lewis is up to 10th, but here comes Casper down the inside and Honey Badger making up for the contact. Someone there 3 wide. And it's going to be Casper down the inside. I think Casper's going to come out on top in that one. He is. Honey Badger's forced onto the curb by Lewis. Honey Badger can't do anything, and here comes Blizzard back down the outside.
Wow.
Blizzard retakes P12, and here comes Nino as well. And Nino's back up to P13. Brilliant racing from these guys to make their way back through the field and not come into too much contact. Zethix and Siege side by side. Zethix takes P15. Having a look through the rest of the field, then Lewis is on the back of Casper, then they're going to be 3 wide again. Here comes Casper down the inside. Maze defends very hard, and Casper's caught out by it, so is Blizzard. Blizzard has to take avoiding action. Here comes Nino, but I think Nino has to back out because Blizzard's on the inside. Nino all the way around the outside from Nino on the championship lead. A brilliant move from Nino to take P11. Let's see if he can get chased after Lewis with P10, but these guys really holding each other up at this point. They're really starting to fall off the back of the group in front. Spike on the back of Suarez as well for P7. Ollie Flavel on the back of Sean for P2. Look at the lead that Toxic has got already. 2.3 seconds in one lap. He's had a brilliant start. Here comes Ollie Flavel for P2. Down the inside of the bus stop chicane. Sean breaks late. He goes around the outside. He holds the lead for the second part of the bus stop chicane. Brandon Glover's there as well. He has a think, but he's not quite close enough to make anything happen. Ollie Flavel, he looks to the outside. He's not got the best one out of the corner. Here comes Venom down the inside for Lakart. For Lasol, sorry, and here comes Vicmil as well. Vicmil's in this one. Venom down the inside though is going to make the move stick. Vicmil's going to try and go through. Is he going to try and get Brandon Glover as well? He doesn't get the best of exits. Brandon Glover holds P5 for the time being, and I'm out of breath. What a start!
What a start! Toxic has just drawn away 3 seconds. But let's talk about Conti down and up the inside. Pretty very similar, I've got to be honest, to Hulkenberg in 2018, where he nearly lost up. Ollie Flavel's on the back of Sean. Oh!
Well held for the pair of them, but Sean moved over a little bit on Ollie Flavel there, and Ollie Flavel just held it. He holds on to P2. Venom's up to P3. What an incredible start Venom's had.
He's up 9 positions from 12th on the grid. Absolutely unreal start. I said watch out for him. Yeah, watch out for him
P3.
indeed, Venom. He's up to P3.
P7.
Spike P7, Lewis is P10 as well. He's got a tremendous start. He went around the outside as well of Honey Badger through Lecom. Got a fantastic move done. He's beginning to try and pick up on Maze. Watch out for him later on in the race. I think, goodness me, very close to the wall. Vic Mills on the back of Brandon Glover as well. But Toxic has sauntered clear. 3.5 seconds in a sprint race. That gap is not going to close anytime soon.
That is an incredible start. 3 seconds in one lap. He absolutely disappeared on the first lap. Fingers crossed he can keep it going for the rest of the race. But what incredible drive pace he's got.
Vic Mills had a right save there. Vic Mill, full credit to him. He nearly lost it on the exit of the chicane. Now if he's Stablo, he's under all sorts of pressure from Spike. Spike now going to go side by side possibly. He's going to think about going around the outside. Brandon Glover's catching Sean just ahead as well. Brandon Glover is on the back, and look at Venom on the back of Ollie for second. Down the inside he goes. Venom gets the move done on Ollie. Fantastic stuff by Venom. He's up 10 positions, remember, from 12th on the grid. He's up into second. Game on now, possibly, as he freaks it gets through at 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. My God, Nino's got the move done on Lewis. Had a bit of a mistake out of turn 1. What are you seeing out on track? This is unreal.
Everything's going off at the moment. I was just actually going to say, like halfway through the lap, look out for Nino. Nino was about 1.5 seconds on the back of Lewis, and he caught him so quickly. Nino's got incredible pace. He's already on the back of Nace of B9. Look at him.
See him through Rouge and Radion. Yeah, look at this. He's going to have DRS as well.
I think Mace has got DRS though on Speedy Suarez in front. Brandon Glover and Sean meanwhile. Brandon Glover's powered his way past. Venom holds on to P2 as well ahead of Ollie Flavel. We couldn't get him back down the straight. So Sean's dropped to P5 now.
Oh, Mace is locked up. Nino's down the inside of him. And Lewis is going to take full advantage. It's 3 wide. Mace getting caught in a little bit of contact. Defended a little bit too hard for my liking. Lewis and Nino. Three wide, Blizzard's down the inside as well. This is all kicking off. There's Honey Badger as well going down the inside. Can he get the move done around the outside of X? Can he get the move done? Oh my God, Lewis is into the wall. Wait till end plate damage.
Yeah, Blizzard's got end plate damage as well somewhere. I'm not sure where we picked that up, but Blizzard, our championship leader, has front wing damage. Second place in the championship is storming away in the lead of the race. This is a disaster for Blizzard at the moment.
Honey Badger's going around the outside of the chicane on Lewis. The Dutchman against the Brit. Tell you what, fantastic stuff by Honey Badger. That is simply good. He got caught on the inside of the grass, actually. And now Lewis is going to repay the favour around the outside into Stavolo. Can he get the move done? No, Honey Badger's back down the inside. Unreal.
Oh my God. From Honey Badger. Brilliant move. Meanwhile, Vic Mill and Spike on the back of Sean for P5 now. Brandon Glover's starting to catch Ollie Flavel for third.
Casper as well's on the back of Honey Badger. Where's he came from?
Casper's going to go from
no! Oh, what a recovery!
Yeah, he just touched the curb on the inside, but really well held. He's going to go for the move on Honey Badger as well. He's not quite close enough. He runs over the curb. There's a little bit of contact, but they get away with it. Venom meanwhile is the fastest lap of the race. He's starting to catch our race leader. Bit Melanchon for P5. He looks for the move at the outside of the source, but he's not close enough. He tried to do the switch back, but Sean parked the bus on the inside of the corner. Victor was not getting through there, and here comes Spike now.
There's a bit of end plate damage, I think. It might have been... I'm not sure who came off, but there was definitely end plate damage. Siege has retired from the race. That is through Stavilo out on track. My God. Yeah, here comes Vic Mill.
For P5. Sean has to think about defending, but Vic Mill's just got so much more straight line speed with the DRS open, and Vic Mill's back up to P5. Let's see if he can close down Brandon Glover for P4, who is on the back of Ollie Farrell for the final podium space.
This is unreal. Casper as well on Honey Badger. Oh, they lean on each other through Lecom. Casper's around the outside on Honey Badger, trying to get the move done. Look at Z3xer as well on the back. He's came from absolutely nowhere. The Norwegian on the back. Casper runs a little bit too deep. This is surely Honey Badger's move through Brussels. Through Brussels. Casper, Honey Badger, Z3xer. Oh my God.
Honey Badger well held. He was really eager on the traction to try and get the move on Casper, but Casper...
Oh, Sean's lost it. Sean's lost it through P1. Suarez going to take full advantage on Spike. Oh my God.
Can't keep up with what's going on. It's all kicking off. Contact between Blizzard and Sean.
Suarez
and Nino make
and Ollie Farrell's out.
Ollie Farrell said there was somewhere. I wonder whether that was with contact, whether he spun on his own. But he's spun out of a P3 position. Nino's got it going again after contact with Suarez. He's dropped to P9, but he's making his way back through.
I think
Blizzard. What Blizzard? I don't know whether it's incredible pace or extreme luck, but he's back up to 6th after being almost plumb last at the end of the first lap.
Brandon Glover's got left side end plate damage. I wonder if there was contact with Ollie.
Yeah, there looks like Vicknell's up to 3rd actually, so Vicknell's taking Brandon Glover in all that as well.
Oh, Brandon goes way too deep. He's into the pit lane. Going to recover.
Spike picks up a time penalty though. Spike picks up a 10-second time penalty.
Sean it was as well.
Yeah, both of them. Oh my word! I need to catch my breath.
Lap 5 out of 9, and you've probably seen as much action as you'll get in a 50% race. Toxic, 4.3 seconds in front from Venom. That gap has now increased. Vic Mill 3rd, Spike 4th, Blizzard in 5th, Sean in 6th, Suarez in 7th. He's driving a phenomenal race, even though he's cut Radion and Rouge, literally right on cue. 3-second time penalty on the outside of Radion for Speedy Suarez. I should really stop commentators cursing people. And here's my commentator as well. Sean's gone well too deep. Oh my God, Suarez as well.
Well held for Blizzard.
Suarez! Oh no.
That was
dangerous.
Smart from Suarez. Yeah, that was a smart rejoin from Suarez. He just joined straight into the side of Sean. I was going to say on board with Sean, I thought he was going to go for the move, but he was too far back, and he sent it. There was a little bit of contact, but he just got the car stopped. But Jesus Christ, they are really going for it.
I think they're going for it a bit too much, if I'm going to be honest. All of this excitement, all of this content, probably people will look back on this race and think, well, that wasn't really a great move.
That was a bit of a desperate move from Sean. But obviously Blizzard has front wing damage, so Sean, you can clearly see, has a stronger car in the middle of part of the lap. It's just whether he can get the move done cleanly at some point. I don't know where to look in this race. Somehow though, this race has been chaotic, and none of the top 5 are within DRS of each other,
which is unreal. Sean and Nino are the only ones really. But Casper, he's into the wall. Casper into the wall through Stavilo. Saw him run wide in the background. I was just cutting on board with it, and Casper is out of the race through Stavilo. A heavy hit. Both front wheels
Sean
off the car.
Sean comes on Blizzard. Let's see if he goes to the move. Blizzard's a little bit late on the brakes, but he gets it stopped.
God almighty.
Nino's thinking about it. I think Nino's faster than the pair of them. He really wants to try and get past his guys as quick as possible. And I think Honey Badger wants to get
wide into the source.
He thinks about it. I think Nino's going to wait for the DRS, I think. Sean is not waiting, though. He is not hanging about. He is trying to go for the move as quickly as possible. Blizzard sees it and backs out. Nino.
Blizzard's coming across on Nino. Nino's going to go side by side. Don't look, everyone. Nino's down the inside. What a move.
Brilliant move, and now he's going to go for the move on Sean. 2 in 1 from Nino. This is incredible performance from Nino.
Blizzard's going to get a double toe. Look at Blizzard's speed. Here comes the trotting down on the inside of Nino. MP against Blizzard, trying to get the move done. He can't. Nino's through, he's up to P5. Blizzard's up to P6. Brilliant.
Oh, Sean down the inside! Oh my word! Blizzard was not having any of it. Blizzard got the run on Nino. Blizzard's down the inside for P5. Nino sees it coming. He gives him a lot of space.
Oh, Sean's trying to go down the inside of Honey Badger as well. And behind, Honey Badger's round the outside. Oh, and he loses the control on the outside curve and he's spun round. He can keep the car going. He's got no front wing damage, which is remarkable. And he's still in the points.
Oh my word. Really lucky for Honey Badger, but that's a shame. He was trying his hardest to get back up to Blizzard and try and get some more points on the championship leader, but it just hasn't quite worked for him. Meanwhile, Nino is swarming all over the back of Blizzard.
Honey Badger with tyres actually out on track, and Lewis is out of the race as well. They're falling like flies out on track.
They really are. Yeah, and actually Brandon Glover is, after having to pit after damage and contact with Ollie Flavel, was pushed his way back into the points.
Yeah.
What a crazy race this has been. Nino's, meanwhile, is not close enough to Blizzard to make the move yet, so he's probably going to wait for the DRS zone. I have to say that, though, he's got brilliant straight line speed. I don't know if he thinks about it into bus stop.
One's wide.
Yeah, he's not quite close enough, I don't think. No, he's definitely not quite close enough. He's going to wait for the back straight. Oh, my word.
Lap 7 out of 9. Let's take a breath.
How have we only had 6 laps?
It's honestly felt like it's been 26, not 6. You can't even get 26 laps around this track in a 50% race, so there's my maths right there. Nino on the back of Blizzard. Venom, 3-second time penalty. Quite notable that. Vic Mill 4.2 seconds up, but it's Toxic who leads, is dominated. The front four, I think, have been very lucky buggers out on track. Haven't been caught up in anything, and they've just pulled away. Here comes Nino.
Much easier this time round.
Yeah,
he doesn't really have to fight through it too much. Yeah, he's got the move. I don't think Blizzard's is going to come back from that one. And Nino's up to P5.
Nino gets the move done, he's up to P5, Blizzard in P6. Sean has been fighting, I've got to say, aggressively out on track, but he's doing a good job, and Z-Freaks are in the back. Goodness me! Sideways coming out of Lecom, caught on the outside curve there. Conti, by the way, who caused all of that lap 1 carnage, forcing about 4 drivers going wide through La Source, is still in this race and is in 9th, but I'm sure the stewards are going to be very, very busy.
Yeah, I imagine they probably will be. Meanwhile, I don't know what is happening, but for some reason, as soon as Blizzard falls behind another car, he seems to be immediately faster than them.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what's happening with Blizzard's pace, but as soon as he's behind someone, he's got incredible pace. So he's swarming all over the back of Nino to try and retake P5, even with front wing damage.
Yeah, Blizzard is trying to get the move done. This is through Stavilo. We are going to go on to the penultimate lap of the race. I'm just going to quickly check your guys' comments. I'm sure you guys have been literally...
Blizzard.
Here he comes.
Sorry, here he comes. You can't take a break to look at the chat because here comes Blizzard for a move on P5 on Nino. He's not going to go for the move of Blanchemont. He's trying to go all the way around the outside. Ooh. He doesn't quite have the grip. Nino leaves him just enough space. That's going to put Sean on the back of these guys quickly as well. Nino a little bit late on the brakes. Blizzard thinks about it, but isn't close enough. If Blizzard goes to the move into La Source, I don't think it's close enough once again. Although I say that, he's got a pretty good run out of the last corner. He weaves to try and let Nino know that he's there. But he's not going to be close enough, and Nino doesn't fall for it. But Blizzard's going to have the DRS down the back straight. Well, I can't keep up. Let's see what Blizzard's run is like through Eau Rouge and Radion. Obviously, he's got front wing damage, so he's going to struggle a little bit in the dirty air. As I say that, he doesn't actually struggle. I completely lied. He actually got a better run than Nino, despite Nino having a fully working car. And Blizzard's going to sail past down into Lake Carl.
Got him.
He's got him. Yeah, he's got the move done.
Oh, Sean's a little bit too late on the brakes.
Yeah, he wasn't close enough to Nino and Blizzard to really affect them anyway, so we kind of got away with braking late, which is okay, but Sean is really racking up the penalties at this point.
Oh, goodness me. I think I've literally been through 12 rounds with Mike Tyson. Out on track. No, Mike Tyson is bringing back his, he's going to be fighting Evander Holyfield apparently, because there's been training videos being put up with him coming back to boxing, and obviously feels like that. We've been punched left, right and centre, the drivers out on track have been punched left, right and centre, and yet we've still got 11 drivers going, well 10 actually, because May's left the session. Never
mind, Sean, I believe Sean's actually just got into the wall. Yeah. That's
a failure. That has to be a failure of some sort.
I'm sure it must have been either that or it was on purpose. I hope it wasn't the latter. But
yeah.
He's gone into the wall there. I can
only imagine he's left the session. I can only think it's something to do with either gearbox failure or setup failure, controller dying.
Maybe it's something to do with his personal setup of some sort. Maybe.
Yeah.
Nino's so late on the brakes, really well. How we didn't cream into the back of Blizzard at the bus stop chicane. Incredible. We're on to the last lap all of a sudden.
How?
I don't know where that's happened, but we're on the last lap now. So this is kind of Nino's last chance. Blizzard's really late on the brakes.
He's gone too deep.
Blizzard's waiting for the DRS. You can see Blizzard trying to slow down to make Nino go for the DRS.
These are playing chicken, these two.
And Nino actually goes past him, I think, before the DRS zone, so I think Blizzard's going to get it anyway. But this is put Z3xer on the pair of them. Here comes Z3xer. Is he going to capitalise and take the pair of them? He's got a brilliant run on his teammate. He's going to go to the third. He had nowhere to go. Nino defended at the very last moment. Smart from Blizzard, but that nearly cost him big time.
Z3xer, I think, to be honest, there was never a gap going to be up there inside. If it was anywhere, it would have been through the middle of, or trying to go through the middle of both of them. It looked like he moved. Nino moved to cut off. Whether that's a fair defensive move remains to be seen. I would argue it's 50-50, but Z3xer, him going to the inside on, there was no gap there. Nino defending that line naturally. It's 50-50 for me.
It really is. It was, I think it was kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't for Z3xer, really, wasn't it? If he went into the middle, we would have caused an accident, and if he went to the right, he would have caused an accident. So I don't think it really would have worked either way. Nino's going to have only opportunity now is into bus stops. He's going to have to try and get a good run through his Stavolo. I'm not sure he's quite close enough.
Z3xer's had a spin as well. Z3xer had a moment just behind. Has now lost contact to them. Toxic, by the way, through the final corner.
Yeah, all this has happened. We've completely ignored the race leaders, but yeah, dominant race from Toxic.
Toxic across the line then. The Brit is going to take the win. Gains back points on his championship rival. Venom across the line in second. Watch out for the penalties. Vicville might gain him on here. Spike getting very close to the end as well. But look at Spike's penalties.
20
seconds, I think, worth of penalties. Blizzard is going to hold on for fifth, possibly from Nino. Nino's arguably driven really well out on track. He freaks across the line in seventh. Conti up to sixth.
Takes sixth. Wow.
Whether he stays there, though, is another thing. Brandon Glover going to be round in ninth position. In the end, the top 10, Maze, if he rejoined the session, he would have picked up points.
Actually, I think he was in the session. I just think he was a lap down.
No, he left. He left the session.
Did he leave the session? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have picked up points had he stayed in the session, yeah.
Brandon Glover across the line in ninth. I can't think of words to describe that race. I'm not sure whether it was good or whether it was the other end. Make a judgment for yourself.
I think definitely the word is the word that I use all the time, but it's chaotic to say the least.
Chaotic to say the least. And it is that man again, Toxic. Now suddenly morphing into BRG Louis out on track. That running joke with the League of Europe, as I like to call him, Brendan Louis, whenever he wins a race. But he takes the win out on track. Toxic, I think, deserves that. He just dominated from flag fall, got the move done on Sean, and was literally put the hammer down, focus on the track ahead, and he picks up the win. Toxic wins from Venom in second. Awesome race by the Scotsman. Pity about the penalty. Vicville across the line in third. Blizzard in fourth. With Nino in fifth. Conti in sixth. Spike in seventh. 23 seconds worth of penalties. Z3xer in eighth. Brandon Glover in ninth. I think they're the only 9 to pick up points with Maze not being a human car, meaning he is out. I don't think he scores that final point scoring position. I might be mistaken on that. Fastest lap of the race, by the way, Brandon Glover gets that extra point within the fastest lap, and he was a 158.7 compared to a 159.4. Sean, Honey Badger, Lewis, Casper, Suarez, Ollie Flavel and Siege and Cam all either DNFing or not starting the race in terms of Cam. Arguably, I'm going to put it out here, driver of the day for me, Nino.
I think I was probably going to say that as well, actually. I think I'd probably put Nino as probably my driver of the day. Obviously, he didn't win or finish on the podium, but for a debut race, he pulled off some brilliant moves, and he had some really good racing, and he showed really good race class. So I think Nino is definitely my driver of the day. It probably would have been Honey Badger for driver of the day had his sprint race not gone so horribly wrong. So because his feature race was so utterly dominant, but yeah, Nino takes my drive for the day as well.
And you can probably tell by the frustration in some drivers that there's only 2 left in the lobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be an omen to sum up how that race might have went.
Yeah, it really was. It was survival of the fittest, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. Survival of the fittest, or survival of the bravest, I think, in terms of Spa. Next week, we go to a track that is 84%, or you can take the track 84% flat out. It is, of course, the Autodromo Nacional de Monza. Big news coming through in real life Formula 1. Vettel going to be leaving Ferrari at the end of the season, if we get a season in 2020. Where is his future? I want to quickly build up on this point. If anybody wants to have a little debate about this within the comment section, we'll let this go for a couple of minutes. Aidan, your opinion on Vettel leaving Ferrari at the end of 2020 and maybe even leaving F1?
I really hope he doesn't leave F1. I know Vettel's obviously received a lot of he's been berated a lot and he's been hated on a lot by the F1 community because obviously his seasons at Ferrari really haven't gone too well for him, unfortunately. Well, I say too well, they have gone well, but it just really hasn't delivered what we wanted from it, which was another championship. But to say the least, Vettel's done an incredible job at Ferrari. He's really put Ferrari back on the map, hasn't he? Ferrari kind of were, at the start of the turbo hybrid era, they were really in the middle of nowhere with Alonso and Alonso and Raikkonen driving. So he's really put them back on the map and put them at the front of the field. He's put them in the right place, but I don't think Vettel's really the person to take them any further forward. So it's inevitable. I think it was coming, whether it was this year or next year. I think it was coming. But like I said, I don't want him to leave Formula 1 because he's a brilliant driver, and he's just such a nice person to have in the paddock and watching interviews as well. So I think predictions as to who takes his seat, who I think will take his seat is probably Ricciardo, who I want, and so I think Sainz really deserves the opportunity in the other Ferrari. But I think it will probably be Ricciardo taking the other seat. I think that I think Renault will probably sign Vettel maybe. And I think Sainz will probably stay at McLaren if that happens.
I've got to be honest, I think Vettel... I've been of the opinion, I've been saying this all day within other Discord channels, I think Vettel will actually leave Formula 1. He's obviously retiring at the end of the season, or, well, supposedly retiring at the end of the season. I mean, he's 32, he's won 4 championships already. 32 is not really a great age to retire at, to be honest, within Formula 1. But if there are options out there for him, will lower teams be able to afford his contract? Will lower teams be able to afford him to race with them? Because obviously you make the point with Ricciardo. I think he will be a fantastic fit in Ferrari if he goes. But do you really see Vettel at Renault?
I think it's possible because I don't think... Well, we saw that Renault obviously paid a big amount of money for Ricciardo, so they've clearly got the budget to take Vettel, I think, as well. And I think the problem for Vettel, in terms of his Ferrari contract, they didn't die because Ferrari weren't offering them enough money. They died by the looks of it, they died because they were lowering his status in the team and they were really starting to switch him to number 2 driver and put Leclerc above him in the team. And that's, I think, why those contract talks died. So I don't think Vettel's off the mindset of being like in Formula, being in another team, trying to get the most money out of it. I think he's in it just for the love of Formula 1. I think he's very similar to Raikkonen in that way, in that Raikkonen will race in Formula 1 until he dies, I think. Until Raikkonen is not offered anything, Raikkonen would stay in Formula 1 for as long as possible, and I think Vettel's pretty much in the same mindset, in my opinion. So I think Vettel to Renault or even McLaren, I think it's a real possibility.
Very interesting thoughts there from myself and from Aidan. Of course, if you want to try and get involved, then of course, put your comment in the comment section and we'll probably read it later on. Tomorrow night, though, in the shorter term, Mini League is back.
Round of applause.
Round of applause, yeah, League 1.
Do my light clap.
League 1 and League 3 going to be run. I'm going to get up the information now so I can be factually correct, which I probably wasn't going to be about 10 minutes ago. But let me get up who you can expect to see tomorrow night for Esports Mini League 1. And that is the wrong mini league that I'm looking at. So that's absolutely fantastic. Let me find. There is a tweet somewhere. Hang on. I think I've gone through it. No, here we go. So, Mini League 1 tomorrow night will be Inside Line Racing Team, QVR, LR, Livid Motorsport, PMP and TNR Esports. So that is League 1. League 3 also going to be live tomorrow night. Features some of the newer teams in the mini league. OWR Esports, who've been with us before, Mez Racing Team, XL Racing Team, who we know, of course, mainly from League of Europe, Ryzen Phoenix Esports, and Young Walker Racers, which is OWR's sister team, essentially, out on track. And you are going to have the privilege of commentating on Mini League 3.
Yes, I'll be the commentator for Mini League 3 this season. I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, I commentated a little bit over the last Mini League season alongside Kieran McGinley. And it was brilliant fun to watch. It's a really good event, isn't it, as well? It's great to get so many different racing teams together to compete, just for fun as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to commentate over and seeing all the new teams. We know that Mini League is growing pretty much at a rapid pace at this point, so it's really great to see. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yep, so Kieran McGinley will be taking through League 1, but Aidan, you're up first, I'm afraid. 7 o'clock and 7:45 PM. France and Belgium you can expect as both tracks tomorrow. So Aidan will be League 3 commentator. XL Gary will be the host, so if anybody wants to add him, it is XL_Gary on PSN. So if you want to add him and you're part of the teams in League 3, go and add him up, as he will be the host of the lobby. League 1, Race 1 will be France and Belgium as well. 8:30 and 9:15, Kieran McGinley going to be taking through that one. TNRZ Thrigser, who you saw tonight, is going to be the host for Week 1. And then we've got Week 2 and 3 to look forward to. I'm sadly debuting on the 20th of May, so you won't see me tomorrow at all. But League 2 will be France and Belgium. 7 o'clock, 7:45 on the 20th of May. And then Aidan, you're back the week after as well, 20th of May. Japan and Germany going to be rounds 3 and 4. And then we do it all over again, Kieran McGinley and myself, on Week 3. And that is on the 27th of May, 7 o'clock and 7:45 for League 2, 8:30 and 9:15 for League 1. All of the information, by the way, can be found on @esports mini. That is capital E Sports Mini, capital M for Mini as well. So follow the Twitter account there, and you will see hopefully the best possible action you will see. Fantastic to see 15 teams fight it out, and I hope to God you guys will enjoy it. We all need that little bit of lift up, I think, in our current situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it like I said, it's a brilliant event. It's a brilliant way of bringing teams and drivers together, and it's great to bring the league racing community together. Obviously, we know that the league racing community can be divided at points, but seeing so many teams come together and so many more teams being interested, it's brilliant. So I'm really happy that this league exists.
I think it is a fantastic idea, and I think the mini league will continue to go on from strength to strength. And hopefully, you will stay at home. You will protect the NHS. You will not stay alert and control the virus. You will stay at home, protect the NHS, save lives, protect wherever you live as well. Protect your health service wherever you live, and save lives. Because I'll speak about this point quite quickly, and then we'll end the stream. I saw a great piece of video footage. It was in German. It was from Germany itself. And if you walk behind somebody that is either infected or asymptomatic to the virus, you will be infected because the virus travels back towards you, even if you are outside. So if you have somebody that coughs, or you see coughing or spluttering, or has got a high temperature, that virus will then travel back to you and you will get infected, and then other people behind will get infected. It's all about keeping the reproduction rate of the virus down. So the best piece of advice that myself and Aidan and everyone here at TTG can give is stay at home, protect the NHS, and for the love of God, save lives.
Yeah, I could not say that better myself.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Aidan, for being a part of tonight. And what a fantastic race we had there in TTL F2. Quickly, who was your driver of the day, actually?
I mentioned it earlier on, actually. It was Nino.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go. Yeah, going to go.
I'm going to show...
Yeah, individual race-wise, I'd say Honey Badger for the feature and Toxic for the sprint. But overall, I'd say Nino's my driver of the day.
I've got a very short memory span, which is why I asked it twice. Thank you so much for tuning in, though, to TTL F2. We'll be back for the Mini League. Join Kieran McGinley and Aidan Carter for tomorrow. Mini League 1 and Mini League 3 from 7 o'clock. Don't miss it. And remember, stay at home, protect the NHS, protect wherever you live as well, and save lives. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.